Okay, and welcome back, students taking math for business and finance and math applications, and we are working on the chapter 19 word problems, the assigned odd numbered problems from the digital study guide. And as you saw, if you watched the video, notice there was only one video for the drill problems. They went by relatively quickly, so I'm expecting pretty much the same to happen with these here word problems, even though there's let's see here, there's about the same, but remember they are word problems, so they are just slightly different, and you have to really think about word problems because you have to determine, what's directly related, what has nothing to do with the problem, what information might have to be manipulated. So, if you don't understand something, again, watch the video again, and if you still don't get it, feel free to contact an instructor. So, let's move on here. Right, word problem 19-15. It says, let me get my pen. Don Chather bought a new Dell computer for $19.95. This includes a 6% sales tax. What is the amount of the sales tax and the selling price before tax? So it says, and okay, read the problem, okay? If you read it over quickly, it says he bought a new computer for $19.95, okay? And then it says this included a 6% sales tax. A lot of people will go and say, okay, $19.95 times 6% is my sales tax. Okay, no, the $19.95 includes the 6%. Okay, so you're not working the problem like that. You have to read the problem, and like I said, relatively simple, but reading the problem and understanding what's being asked is what's important here, because we all know how to do tax. It's just that simple. I mean, everybody pays tax, so you should understand how it's calculated. So how did we do this? Well, remember, it was our total sales of $19.95 over 1 plus the sales tax percent, which is 6%. Remember, this ends up being 1.06, so it's $19.95 divided by 1.06, okay, which gives you, let's see here, 1995 divided by 1.06 gives me $1,882.08 as my actual sales. Okay, so it says, what is the selling price before tax? That's it right there. So what's the amount of the sales tax? Well, it's the difference between the two. $19.95 is what we paid total, and if our selling price was $1,882.08, the difference between the two is $112.92. That's our sales tax. Okay, and again, by now, this is what should be going in your head, right? Here's $19.95 as 100% of this sale, and it's divided into two parts, sales tax and retail. Okay, and if you calculated the retail as the actual sale, well, the total price minus the actual sale gives you your sales tax. Okay, all right, enough of that. 19-17. In the town of Marblehead, the market value of a home is $280,000, and the assessment rate is 40%. So what's the assessed value? Well, it's the 280,000 times 40%. Gives you 112,000. Done. Just that simple. Okay. The the market value times the rate. Right? Gives you the assessed value. 1919. Lois Clark bought a ring for $6,000. She must still pay a 5% sales tax and a 10% excise tax. The jeweler shipping the ring, so Lois must pay a $40 shipping charge. Remember, shipping does not get taxed. Okay, so what is the total purchase price of Lois's ring? Right. Well, you can do this the longer way. You can take the 6,000 and multiply it by the 5% and get, let's see here, get $300. Okay, then you can take the 6,000 and multiply it by 10% and get $600, and then take your 6,000, add the 300, add the 600, and then add the $40 in shipping and get $69.40 as the total price. Okay, and that's the little bit longer way. Or what I could have done is I could have said, okay, 5% sales tax, 10% excise tax, so 5 plus 10 is 15%. Multiplied the 6,000 by the 15% and come up with $900. So I would have just added 6,000, 900, and the 40, and still got $69.40. Okay, two different ways of doing it. Neither is right or wrong. What matters is what it's asking you. If it's just asking you what the total purchase price is, I could have done it this alternate way right here. Okay, I could have done it this way. But if they want an itemized, saying how much was the sale, how much was the excise, then yeah, I'd have to do it this way instead. Okay. All right. 19-21. Bill Schass owes a property tax of $3,200. In his community, the tax rate is 50 mils. What is Bill's assessed value? Okay. So remember, this is mils times 0.001 times whatever the assessed value, whatever the property tax is. Okay. In this case here, this is equal to $3,200. Okay. So we have to take, we know that we have 50 mils times 0.001 times A, because we want to know what the assessed value is, and this is 3,200. Okay, put everything, get everything on the right side here, right? So 50 times 0.001, right, is 0.05 times A, and so that's still equal to 3,200. So that's 0.05A, because multiplying here is equal to 3,200. And so we divide both sides by 0.05 to isolate the A. And you remember doing this way back in the other chapter, right? Way back in the early chapters. So A is equal to 3,200 divided by 0.05, and that means the assessed value is $64,000. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm debating whether I should cover this one again because of this, this first. Remember, when I had, back in the theory video, I had said, there's different ways to express there was different ways to calculate the property tax, and one of the ways was mils times 0.001 times the assessed value. Okay, well here you know what the property tax is, right? So remember, this was property tax is equal to. So you know what the property tax is, right? So all I'm doing is just I'm manipulating this. So this here's my property tax. So there's my mils. There's my 0.01. I'm looking for my assessed value right here, right? And there's my property tax. So all I did was just plug in the variables into the the equation and then solve for what I was looking for, which was the assessed value. Okay. All right. Let's see here. 21, 20. All right. I only have two more, so let me see if I can't punch them out here. Jesse Garza has a home assessed at $285,000. The tax rate is 7.9 mils. What is the tax on Jesse's home? So, okay, this is what I was just talking about. Okay, the property tax was equal to the mils times 0.001 times the assessed value. Okay. Well, here it's asking us what is the tax on Jesse's home. So we're asking for the property tax. So plug everything else in. So this is 7.9 times 0.001 times 285,000. And so when we multiply all of that across, my property tax ends up being $2,251.50. Okay, that's 7.9 times 0.001 times 285,000. Yep, $2,251.50. Okay. Same formula as this one, right? Just what were we, we were given the mils. We know we're using 0.001. So the question is, whether we're looking for property tax or assessed value. In this one here, we were looking for the assessed value, and this one we were looking at the property tax, but we're using the same formula. Okay. All right, and the last one is, let's see here, the property tax rate for Minneapolis is 8.73 per square foot, and the Denver rate is 2.14 per square foot. If 3,500 square feet is occupied at each location, what is the difference in property tax? If 35 is occupied at each location, what is the difference in property tax? Okay, so let's see. All right, so the property tax rate for Minneapolis is 8.73, and the Denver rate is 2.14. So let's subtract that from that, and we end up with 6.59 more per square foot between Denver and Minneapolis. So if 3,500 square feet is occupied at each location, what is the difference in property taxes? Okay, so we're taking 3,500 times the 6.59, which is the difference, and that gives us, let's see here, 3,500 times 6.59 gives us 23,065. Okay, that's the difference in the property taxes. That's more in Minneapolis. Okay, let me kind of just briefly go back over that again. You might not have understood what I was getting at here. Okay. All right, so it says the property tax rate for Minneapolis is 8.73, so that's Minneapolis. And the Denver rate is 214, so that's Denver. Okay, so if 3,500 square feet is occupied in each location, what is the difference in property taxes? Okay, so they're both at 3,500, right? But Minneapolis is more than Denver, so how much more? Well, that's that 6.59. And if we want to know in dollar amount, since it's 6.59 times the, since that's the difference, that's how much more. That's why we're multiplying by 6.59, okay, to get the 23,065. Okay, think of it like this. Here's Minneapolis, and this is 8.73. But now you're going to draw Denver, and Denver is going to be smaller, right? And this is 2.14. Okay, well, if you hack off 2.14, meaning we're transferring that here, the difference here right? Because remember, we're going back, instead of using a circle here, we're using a square, okay? This is all Minneapolis, 8.73. Well, if this portion here, 2.14, is Denver, right? Is the size of Denver, even though we know that this is all Minneapolis. The difference between the two, 6.59, is what's left over. That's how much bigger Minneapolis is than Denver. And of course, if it's 3,500 square feet, we'll multiply that and we get the 23,065. Okay. All right, so that's it for the word problems, and we'll see you all in the summary practice test. And as always, pause and rewind the video, and contact an instructor if you're still not getting it. All right, but we have very few students calling us in this chapter, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. Okay, if you don't understand it. All right, we'll see you in the summary practice test.